All right, I like that. I like that amount. I think that's a good place to. I think this is a good place to start. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead
About
and get started. We're going to play Choice of Robots. It's a choice of game. It is a completely text-based game. So there will be a lot of reading on my part. There will hopefully be a lot of decision making on your guys' part. Um, I've done this before. We have historically created a very good friend of ours, Bitey Spaghetti, and I'm very interested to see how we do things this time. I So for those of you who aren't familiar or whatever, uh, more or less this game is following. We are playing what do you? We are playing the focus character who is a tech loser nerd. I shouldn't necessarily say loser because we can make him certain ways. But he's going to some expensive college. He's got some expensive everything. He's not like you or me. Actually, I shouldn't even say he. We can choose that. Uh, so, yeah. There will be. This is a rather long game. As far as the choice games go, as far as other ones I've played were much shorter than this, and I realized that this has given me uh, this sort of spoiled me for length. Every once in a while, we can check things like our stats. We start here at 2019. We are a 24-year-old unnamed protagonist. And obviously, we haven't established anything else yet here. There's going to be a bunch of characters who we will develop relationships with. Our robot will be. Our robot will gradually gain or lose certain stats. Uh, yeah. Oop. And then I went to settings instead of. Well then, let's find out. Um, okay, well, this is the very first choice of the game. Uh, where are you? In the court of the Egyptian god Anubis, answering for my sins? On a war-torn battlefield with a robotic Statue of Liberty? On a cliff in Ireland, watching the sunset with a robot companion? On a utopian beach ruled by a godlike cloud of robots?
well,
There is no
first
context, so you just pick one.
when I first saw this, I assumed we were a robot, and I was like, "Well, that first choice is just Talos Principle. I know that. Can't fool me." But now that I know we're not a robot, I have to rethink things, or at least we aren't yet,
It's a valid theory.
unless. Uh,
I will be enjoying a glass of wine. Maybe more?
Godlike cloud of robots just feels like it'd be really hard to make a robot friend.
I don't know.
Like,
Beefy could be in charge of them.
I suppose that's true. So the beach is ruled by the godlike cloud of robots, but we could still be in charge of the cloud. We could be a godlike.
I mean, or the utopian beach could just be its own thing, And we are also being ruled by a godlike cloud of robots, in addition to being on a utopian beach. But Plux says Ireland sounds nice.
Ireland does sound nice.
And Ven doesn't really like the idea of a cloud of a cloud of robots. Let's go ahead and just make this easy. Let's pick Ireland. Sitting on a seaside cliff in Ireland, watching the sunset, is the robot companion you've always wanted. He proposed to me at this very spot. She proposed to me at this very spot. He and I travel the world together exploring. She and I travel the world together exploring.
I think I like exploring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to marry this robot yet, you know? Yeah.
Or maybe you are. Who's to say?
Me. Me and several other people. We're all making choices. A robot.
Now, we can debate the semantics of these questions as long as we want, but it won't get us anywhere. I'll just say.
Well, then I choose she and I travel the world together exploring. That's my vote.
Any other choices? Any objections? Any provocative ideas? I don't know. Are we?
You're making the choice of robot. It's up to you what the choice means. Or is it?
Or maybe we're just setting a scene. Maybe we're just painting a picture. And next. Yes. You two are the best of friends. +2 empathy, plus autonomy. She's clothed in a loose-fitting red tunic and she shoots you a puckish, friendly look. You sit down beside her to watch the sunset together. I hope I didn't keep you waiting, you say. Actually, I'm still waiting, she says with a slight smile. For you to build me. I can do that? You say. She looks sad for a moment. Yes, but it will take a lot out of you. She puts her hand on yours. But I promise that if you give your humanity to me, then I will give it back one day. I don't understand, you say. Just remember that no great thing happens without sacrifice, she says. And I'm sorry.
Some things are in our control and others not.
You awaken with your head on a desktop keyboard. Your 3D drafting program is still open, the schematic zoomed in and to the recess, where your smartphone will snap into its back and act as its brain. You recall fiddling with that part endlessly last night until finally your vision began to fade. There was a roaring in your ears, and you realized you had been working far too long, and you must have passed out. It's the fall of 2019. You're a 24-year-old graduate student in the PhD program in computer science at Stanford. And you're a... guy? Girl. I'm gonna be. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This game's, I think, 15 years old now. So we are not necessarily going to see the breadth of options we would expect today. So let's just deal with it, is what I'm going to say. Hi, maid.
Hi, maid.
So, graduate student, PhD program in computer science.
Ugh.
And just to allay anybody's fears, because I don't want anybody to be on the on edge, we have not done anything permanent with the robot yet. We were having a dream. Okay, Box. What is that,
Okay, so pick heads.
Alright, I'll pick heads.
We are heads gender. Well, that's not a very good point, but that is. Keep going.
Marvel time! Hi, maid. Again. Let me pick out some special marbles for this.
Special mark? Thank you, maid. It's marble, baby. When's marble?
Alright, I've got a blue swirl and a green swirl.
Ooh.
Green swirl will be guy. Blue swirl will be girl. Hop, bop, ba-doom, bop. Yeah. Green. We're a guy.
Yay!
In the future, for if we only have a limited amount of input and a bunch of questionable or confusing non-answers, I will be turning to the marbles.
The marbles are wise.
All right, so we could our name could be one of these nerds, but let's go ahead and set our own tone. What kind of guy are we? What's our name?
Bitey spaghetti. No.
Okay,
we
no.
can't. Names are hard to choose for me.
Box says that our name should be Lobstrock.
Lobstrock?
And Dr. Buttluck says Ben Parker.
That's Spider-Man's dad, uncle.
Well, how about Lobstrock, and then our last name is Ben Parker?
Lobstrock Ben Parker. Or is it Ben Parker? Because it's his last name.
Lobstrock. Is that right?
Yeah.
And your last name? None of these. Is, Ben Parker. Alright, we are Lobstrock Ben Parker. Now, you look around your apartment. What does it look like?
Or known to his friends as Lobby Ben.
My BattleBot trophy is perched on a widescreen TV equipped with the latest video game consoles. Neatly labeled plastic shelving units sit on a 3D printer equipped robot workbench. Busts of famous philosophers sit next to my own in attempts to sculpt them. And my shelves display all of the strange little robotic creatures I've made over the years. Which one do we want?
I like little robotic creatures.
So does Maid. And I get the impression that Ben does too, but is defensive about the use of the word strange. Buttplug says, you know, it's sort of seeming like a sweep. You've always been fascinated with the idea of creating artificial life. You've got at least 20 such creations on your shelf. Their construction materials a timeline of your life. The earliest is made of toothpicks and glue. The latest, a spider robot you made out of your old smartphone when your plan gave you a new one. Your creations often confuse people who don't get that robots don't have to be for anything. When people pick up your three-legged wall-climbing robot that sings when it detects encrypted wireless packets, they ask, "What the heck is that for?" And you reply, "What's anything for? What are you for?" Okay, maybe you don't say that, but sometimes you think it. +2 to autonomy. It strikes you for a moment that this kind of thinking about how your life affects your robots is second nature to you, though others might find it peculiar. You've always been fascinated by how every little detail of your life, from the content of your dreams to the decor of your room, changes the input to the robots you create. Boost their empathy or autonomy or grace or appeal to the military. Hint, hint. Surely there are other things going on around you as a result of your decisions, but they don't immediately strike you the same way. Today, your robot is foremost on your mind because you're about to build its body. You pick up your laptop and head for the Stanford Machine Shop. It is a beautiful spring day in Palo Alto, California, and your apartment is only a short walk from the machine shop. But the streets of Palo Alto are not designed for walking. You find yourself climbing around palm trees and balancing on narrow curbs, as you do every day. You hear a low roar overhead. Glancing up, you see it's a flying car, a Nimbus. A little over $300,000 can buy you a car with wings that fold out, so that it becomes a small sport plane. The red Nimbus looks sleek and sporty. It's the sort of car its owners take religiously to the car wash. Though the commercials would have you believe you can fly anywhere you want to in those cars, the FAA still requires them to take off and land from airports. Only here in wealthy Silicon Valley do you see them with any frequency. The first time you saw one, you couldn't quite believe the future had arrived so quickly. But the second time you saw one, you thought, "I will own one of those one day, I swear it!" Or, "If I ever make that much money, I'll use it to help the world instead of buying that car." Or, "Why aren't those flying cars driving themselves?"
Why aren't they flying themselves?
Dr. Buttplug asks, "Why aren't those cars crashing into each other?" Which I think is why aren't those cars driving themselves?
Why aren't those them driving themselves for maximum amusement of me?
Now remember, this is a fictitious future as written in, I think, 2009-ish, that era. Maybe a little bit later, but so we can leave any preconceived notions that we want out, like just out of our consideration.
Mm-hmm.
This could
There's nothing wrong with the idea of flying of self-driving cars. Problem is the other stuff.
Okay, so, I'm getting... Yeah, exactly, Dr. Bubba. Those things you can definitely leave at the door. I am getting pretty... I feel like I am getting pretty vague answers, although there's a slight leaning towards option 2. No, nobody's chosen option 1, so what I'm going to do is 3 marbles, 2 green swirls, 1 blue swirl. The 1 blue swirl is for option 3, and the 2 green swirls are for option 2. Boo, beep, 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 beep. Boo! Whoop. Option 2. You don't understand Silicon Valley sometimes. If you had $300,000, surely you could save many lives with that money. You promise yourself that you'll hang on to your ideals, even if you should become wealthy. The Stanford University fabrication shop smells like oil and burnt plastic. The room is dominated by large metal, hand-cranked milling machines and lathes, dinosaurs of the 20th century, while the most used machines are the smaller 3D printers and computer-controlled water jet cutters that take a quarter of the space. The lights have the sterile fluorescence of an operating room with only a single tiny window near the ceiling to inform you that it is day. You start up a National Public Radio podcast on your laptop. You haven't seen your advisor much since you joined the lab, so you choose the episode in which he's the interviewee. My guest today is Dr. Harvey Ziegler, says a woman with a soothing voice. Dr. Ziegler, thank you for talking with us today. Frank, do you want to take Dr. Ziegler?
Gosh, sure.
But, heads up. You'll figure it out.
Oh? Okay. That just made me less sure about what voice to use. Well, a scientist does have some responsibility to inform the unwashed masses, Terry.
You let the podcast run as you walk over to the 3D printers. What material have you decided to use for your robot? Plastic. It may break easily, but it's both lightweight and cheap. Metal. It is the most resistant to damage. Wood. It's the most pleasing to the hand and eye.
A wood robot? Make a cool plant friend. And then the robot and plant can be together.
Oh, like in, that game.
Yeah. You can make wood that doesn't have splinters coming out of it. There's many ways to do so.
Or you could also just be in Victorian times and they didn't give a shit and they just used a fucking slab of wood to, like, pleasure themselves no matter what it did. Alright, well, we got 1 for metal, we got a bunch for wood. Although I do think Mate is right. I think the last time I played this we also went with wood. So I'm deducting 1 from wood. Because I am streaming, so I get to.
That's fair.
Oh, Mate's changed to plastic. Let's call that then 1 for wood, 1 for plastic, 1 for metal. You can't just change yours back to... Okay. Are we doing ranked voting? Well, yeah, that's fine.
What do you think this is, a functional democracy?
Well, okay then. Let's go ahead and go for plastic. You walk over to the stack of 3D printer cartridges, unwrap one, and load the large cylinder of meltable plastic into the printer. You often find yourself needing to make little repairs to your robot yourself, and over time, the savings from plastics will start to add up. Plus wealth. Thermoplastics aren't the best when there's fire nearby, though, minus military. Dr. Ziegler, in your new book, you talk about the singularity. Could you describe for our listeners what that is?
Terry, the singularity is the coming time when artificial intelligence will have figured out how to make themselves, and us, smarter. Once that happens, the process will build on itself until the robots are smart enough to figure out how we can live forever.
Is that possible? The interviewer asks. Living forever?
Of course. What does
Professor
it matter
Ziegler
whether...
says.
What does it matter whether our operating systems are made out of meat or silicon?
So you're predicting we'll become robots?
Not exactly. But I do think the line between humans and robots will blur.
You're hardly listening to the podcast because you're about to make your first robot part. What does the head of your robot look like? A human face, as lifelike as I can make it. A simple box with eyes, clearly not trying to be anything but a robot. It will be felt covered and big-eyed like a puppet so that people will not be afraid of it. It will have a ring of cameras around its head for a 360-degree view, or it will look like a Venetian mask. Beautiful, expressionless, otherworldly.
I think camera head.
2 for camera head. 1 for mask. And I'm going to counter you, Dr. Buttplug. I like that movie.
Me too.
Everything, I'm sure that everything suggests that I shouldn't like it. But, I do. I really enjoyed it. I like the, pacing, the atmosphere, the acting. I like it. Well, made for what it's worth, I would have really picked a, well, yeah, it's wrong. I would have picked, the Venetian mask if left to my own devices at this point. But it seems like we're going to have a ring of cameras around its head for a 360-degree view.
I was almost went with simple box with eyes, but then I didn't.
That is actually what we picked first time, I think.
That's one of the reasons I didn't go with it.
It was... Ooh.
Socialist Meteor T. What a name for a promotion bot. Wow.
You see no reason to force your robot to have binocular vision when it is relatively easy to stitch images together to form 360-degree panoramas. Your robot will always have a good sense of where it is, and it will be hard to sneak up on it. +2 to military. But some people may be concerned with its alien appearance. Its head looks like a mushroom cap surrounded by arachnid eyes. -2 to empathy. Dr. Ziegler, what makes you think the singularity will happen now?
Well, for one thing, I'm around. But seriously, my lab is taking a unique approach because we're saying, why not teach a robot like a child? We're going to equip the robot with the best sensors money can buy and teach it English. Then it could rapidly teach itself using the internet.
Well, that's annoying. Your advisor thought that a robot child was a stupid idea until you told him Turing proposed it back in 1950, minus the internet part. But he isn't giving credit to either of you. You keep working, regardless. How will your robot get around? It will walk upright on 2 legs, it will crawl on 8 legs, it will roll on wheels, it will fly like a helicopter, it will roll on tank treads, it will walk upright, but will also have delicate wings it can use for balance.
Wings. Maybe. Wings, yes. I stick with it. Camera head, one face made.
Yeah, 360 camera head. And I also added, for what it was worth, that I would have picked, that I would have picked, the Venetian mask also. Also, damn. More like Gondry clones. Nice. Oh. They both made music videos for Bjork, so...
Seems like we've got a pretty wide spread here.
We kind of do. It looks like we got one for Spider, one for Wings, one for, and one for Helicopter. And Ven didn't give an answer. So... let's see here. Alright, I'm adding a, red speckled marble, and a a yellow speckled marble. Since it seems like we are split 4 ways? Okay,
Yes,
8
yes.
legs, helicopter, delicate wings. Oh no, wait. No, 3 ways. Okay. Oh, no, there it is, 4 ways. Wheels. Okay. Thanks, box. Alright, green swirl. 8 legs. Blue swirl. Wheels. Yellow speckles. Helicopter. Red speckles. Delicate wings. Up-a-da-boop. Ba-ba. What did I say? Yellow speckles. Helicopter.
Helicopter. Out of curiosity, what decides what marble is the winning one?
I am shaking it and then I pick one out of my hand.
Huh.
I put all the marbles into my hands, cup it, and then shake it about. Alright, so... Let me just put these away for now. The drone revolution of the early 21st century made small helicopter rotors the clear preferred means for travel for a robot. Its similarity to previous unmanned aerial vehicles should help you find military customers, +2 to military. However, people may not be as willing to see a little flying copter thing as human. -1 to empathy. The 3D printer prints the rotors one by one, and finally prints the cross-shaped frame that connects them to the head. You use the basic hand-cranked milling machines to drill holes in the head for screws, since 3D printers aren't the best for threaded holes. And who's going to raise this robotic child? The interviewer asks.
Who does all the grunt work in a research laboratory?
Professor Ziegler says.
The graduate students, of course.
Oh! You find yourself wanting to reply to the podcast. It's not grunt work. Education is critical to the robot's development. We also do all the real science, or perhaps you could learn something from doing a little grunt work yourself, Professor Ziegler.
I mean, I want to pick one, because it kind of sounds like the education of the robot is far and away the most important bit of all this, so... The most important part of raising a child is raising a child. So...
Well, that's 1 for 1.
It's kind of a wild thing to assert otherwise.
I'm seeing, 3 is currently winning the vote. No, sorry, no, 2 is. 2 is currently winning the vote. Okay. All right, I'm going to start locking you all into your first votes, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
Because
otherwise I'm just gonna convince everyone. Just too convincing.
Yes, maid, even you. Especially you. The first thing that you say will be the answer that locks in. Three.
In fact, maybe
Three.
only you.
Two. Two. And then one. Alright, that leaves us tied. 2 and 3. Let's see here. Uh,
No runoff?
I'm going to... Alright, let's see here. Even, 2, odd, 3. It's odd. We're picking 3. Perhaps you could learn something from doing a little grunt work for yourself, Professor Ziegler. That time I rolled a die. Alright, Professor Ziegler.
Oh, I'm right to start. I doubt it, but I would... Oh, so I was like, wait, how's there... Okay, I doubt it, but I would join you if I had the time.
Says Professor Ziegler, who appears to have entered the machine shop behind you when you weren't looking.
Perhaps it surprises you, but I do miss building robots myself instead of chasing after funding.
Damn. Professor Ziegler is a heavy-set man wearing a Hawaiian shirt and aviator sunglasses. He stalks over to your computer. We'll be back in a moment, continues the interviewer. We're talking with Professor Ziegler pauses the podcast by hitting your laptop spacebar, and you flinch at this intrusion. He then pulls a cigar from his pocket and lights it, and the smell of smoke mingles with the oily smell of the machine shop.
I'm writing a grant for DARPA, and I need to see what you're making back here. We ultimately get funded by the Department of Defense, so we have to make sure they're happy with our product.
He casts a critical eye on the work that you've done.
This is a prototype, right?
He says.
You're gonna build the final thing out of metal?
Yes, sir, and I'm telling the truth. Yes, sir, but I'm lying. No, but we could certainly say it's a prototype in the grant, or no, the plastic parts are meant to make it easier to repair. I don't think the military should have a problem with that.
Yes, sir, but I'm lying.
A box agrees. It's not an answer. Early polling suggests that we are going to be saying yes, sir, but we're lying. No, it should be. Well, Dr. Buttplug, that means 2 or 3 because 2 and 3 are both lies. Who are we lying to, though? All right, it seems like we're going with 2.
Don't use that tone with me.
Professor Ziegler says, irritated.
I'm serious. Do it.
You realize that Professor Ziegler can tell when you are making empty promises, but he doesn't pursue the matter, perhaps because he wants to claim in the grant that you will change the material and is not looking for evidence to the contrary. Professor Ziegler turns to examining your robot's head, which is currently sitting on the table next to the 3D printer.
That seems alright. Looks like it could be sufficiently intimidating. And what are you planning to do for arms and hands?
Well, alright, well, here comes. Tyrannosaurus Rex was the most intimidating dinosaur imaginable, wasn't it? It'll have T-Rex arms. It'll have a gun for an arm, like Mega Man. Mechanical grippers built for strength instead of dexterity. I was thinking of sort of Swiss Army knife hands with tools that pop out of the fingers. I plan to build a soft hand with a good sense of touch. I was thinking, why just 2 arms? It'll have a lot of arms springing out of its back, like Inspector Gadget.
Helicopter party and tiny T-Rex arms? Oh, that's a really good image. It's just like a helicopter with two tiny little spinny arms.
I really hope that, and also, I really hope that people will keep track and find somebody to draw this for us.
I can't decide if T-Rex arms or Gadget springing out of back.
Well, we got 2, 2, and 6. Yeah, I said that, and I was like, God damn it, they're gonna say me, aren't they? I've already got an impossible thing foisted upon me. But this one I actually could probably do because I like drawing robots. I'm gonna start counting your votes as double made to punish you.
You're gonna be the only one deciding this. I'm gonna go with T-Rex arms.
Alright, so that's, okay, 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Wait. Okay, 1 for 1, 1 for 2, 1 for 3, and 1 for 6. Oh boy. Alright, here comes a D6. That didn't help. Alright, you know what? Here comes a D4 instead. What do you mean heads?
Wait a minute, how did we roll heads on this die?
There is no difference made. A D6 is a regular die. It's just, I have many-sided dice, and they have dragons on them. Yay!
Well, Maid, one of them is something you roll when you're telling an epic story, and one of them is something you roll when you're playing Monopoly with a child!
One.
Yay! This poor robot. I'm sorry, robot. You can see everything and you can't touch them.
Ziegler gives you a flat look. You make little hooked fingers and jut out your teeth. Rawr.
I can't tell whether or not you're kidding.
You demonstrate your ability to pick up a pen with your 2 hooked fingers. Eh? You're convinced this will look adorable, plus empathy. The memory and power you would have reserved for motor control can be used instead to speed its cognition, plus 2 to grace. Sadly, it's not actually going to make your robot very intimidating, minus 2 to military.
Fine.
Ziegler says, waving away further explanation.
Carry on, then.
He turns to leave.
I've got to go take a call from a New York Times reporter. Funny how journalists all copy each other's stories, but each garble the message in a unique way.
Oh, he makes it to the door and then turns and says,
Oh, one more thing. You think your robot can be ready by tomorrow? Someone from the Air Force will be in town, and I told her your robot might be ready to show off by then.
You feel your phone vibrating in your pocket. Bad timing. You resist the urge to check it while talking to your advisor, but it's probably someone with a better offer for what to do tonight. No, there's no way this robot will be done by tomorrow. Sorry. The robot will be done, but a demo will be out of the question. We need to test it first, or, of course.
I'm a big believer in testing. I picked 2.
Alright, well, okay. 1 for 2, 2 for 1. 3 for 1. Well, looks like we're just gonna tell him to fuck off. Professor Ziegler.
Oh god, that is...
Says Professor Ziegler.
Well, enjoy your weekend.
He says acidly. Good point, Ben. Good point. How are you gonna get accurate T-Rex arms in a night? Professor Ziegler turns and walks out of the machine shop. You find yourself unclenching your hands. Who was calling you while Professor Ziegler was talking to you? Is it Emmy Lau, a user experience designer and supportive friend? Eiji Aomame, a manga artist and generally good guy? Or my ambitious friend Josh Anderson, founder of the startup US Robots?
I vote against 3? Is that... I don't know if that's what we're doing. But I don't want to meet Josh Anderson.
It sounds like everybody is voting. I vote against 3.
I vote to kill Josh Anderson. Is that possible? Or...
We're not going to see anybody. It's just we're deciding who called us.
I guess I go for Ellie slightly more than Edgy.
Well, Maid voted Ellie. So that's 3 for 1, including Ben. We're going with 1. From the missed call, your phone is displaying Ellie's profile photo. It's a picture of Josh and Ellie from the freshman welcome week dance 7 years ago. Ellie is wearing a red Chinese dress with gold trim, and her long straight black hair falling down down to the epaulets. The flash is too bright in the picture, making Ellie's pale skin look washed out. Josh is wearing his usual gray hoodie, not having bothered to dress up for the dance, and his arm is around Ellie. What's the story behind that picture? By the way, everybody, Josh Anderson, who you dodged, is this guy who refuses to wear anything but a gray hoodie to a fucking dance that clearly has some sort of decorum. So here's the, I was in love with Josh's friend Ellie, but my studies always came first in college. I was in love with Josh, but I never knew how to be more than a friend to him. I had agreed to be Josh's wing person at the dance, and that's where he met Ellie. I was testing a music recognition algorithm when those two started bothering me. Let's see here, Frank.
One? Or maybe 4.
Oh, well, looks like we're
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards 4. I was pretty split on 1 and 4, so...
Of course you get included, Ben. I just need you to give an answer before we actually have a majority. You had actually come to the dance just to try out your music recognition algorithm in a congested social environment with poor acoustics, when those two, who were on some kind of date, you guess, came up and started bothering you. Ellie asked you some technical questions about your sensors, and Josh said that if you ever wanted to create a startup around your algorithm, you should contact him. You told him the algorithm was trivial, not really worth starting a business about, and they both seem impressed with you despite your standoffish behavior, and you agreed to exchange contact information, then shooed them away. They both since tried to get you to come out of your shell a little more, but you like your shell. Thank you. It gives you space in which to think. For example, thanks to your efforts that day, the robots you make are often able to pick up on subtle cues in the music of speech, called prosody, even in noisy environments, plus empathy. You notice that Ellie has also left you a text. Ellie wants to meet for dinner at a jazz and sushi place in San Francisco, which is about an hour north of you. She also has tickets to a rendition of the musical Pippin, in which most of the characters are robots. Sounds like a date. That's a little terrifying. You text back. Sounds great, see you then? Afraid I can't tonight, sorry. Busy tonight, but do you want to come by tomorrow to see the robot? I don't reply, I prefer to pretend I missed the text.
That sounds great. You gotta have a healthy work-life balance. This robot's great and important, but building the robot faster won't make the robot better.
Ben says 1. Eat something. Hi, Lizard.
Aye.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Box says, I suppose you could go and see a musical about my favorite Hobbit. Which sounds great, and we're gonna go with sounds great. Great, Ellie texts back. See you then. You spend the rest of the day drilling holes, polishing surfaces, cutting parts, and screwing things together. When you are done, your robot's body stands before you, a plastic rotary wing robot with a panoptic head and T-Rex arms. The whole thing is about 3 feet long. Now it only needs a name. What will you name your robots? Obviously, we're coming up with our own name. Now throw ideas at me, chat, and, whatever else, I will make the decision that I feel is correct.
So lobstruck. Jesus. What is that from?
Thanks, mate.
What in the world? Is that a scam rap album? Of course it is. If it's a scam rap album, it's not a real album, actually. Fun story.
Do you have any suggestions? Do you have any contributions to the great naming catastrophe?
I don't know. You know how names take me a very long time.
Well, I mean, basically, if you throw anything out there, I'm going to find a way to make something work.
T-Rex arms, they fly around, they got cameras. The Panopticon, or Pan for short.
Panopticon.
Panopticopter, or Pan for short.
It's really funny, Ben. You kind of literally read my mind. Actually, no, but I'm not going to do Mark 1. I'm going to do... Oh, no, wait, I've got it. Panopticopter Wrecks, but spelled like Rippin' and Reckin'. It's also GG is a good name. is Panopticopter. Now that Panopticopter Wrecks has a body, it might be time to treat Panopticopter Wrecks more like a person. With what pronouns will you refer to Panopticopter Wrecks? It is just fine. It's not human. I will refer to her as feminine. I will refer to him as masculine. I would prefer to use entirely new pronouns for robots, Ray, Rare, and Rim.
Neo-pronouns.
Remember, everybody, that there was a time where people were more okay with the idea of neo-pronouns than they were using they, them as a singular pronoun. Ben does make a good point, though. Rur does sound like rar.
Oh, that's strong. I hadn't even thought that. I've had gosh, how old is she? I'm gonna say roughly 70-year-old woman tell me that she would much rather use Z and Zer than they them.
Absolutely insane. They them is literally a singular pronoun that we use in everyday language and have always.
You've met this person.
Oh no.
It's B of B and C. I was trying to think of a way to not dox.
Jesus, really?
She's not like uptight about it or anything, but she was like, yeah, obviously I'll refer to people whatever they ask. Like, I get it, and if that's what they want, then that. But to me personally, I find it less confusing to use they, that, to they, them, I find confusing, and like, it's not correct. I was like, I made the point, like, it's literally a normal part of speech. And no one will ever catch on to, like, neo-pronouns are a entirely new type of word you're asking people to use, and it's such a bigger ask. And...
yeah, it is actually more likely to stick with a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Because a person would then be able to say, like, oh, right, okay, because this is a robot.
But also, I was like, using they and them is already grammatically correct. And she's just like, nah, I don't, it doesn't seem right to me. No, that's not what she didn't say. It doesn't seem right to me. I think she just said, like, it's because it exists already. And is used differently, was her argument. It is confusing.
Non-binary people aren't new humans. This is an argument from another time, and has nothing to do with Panopticopter Wrecks, who... Honestly, Ben made a really good point. Rur sounds like rar.
Yeah, I mean, and I voted for that already too, to be clear.
Okay, yes, fine.
So.
Alright, that's two for 4. Don't worry, it's okay.
I just want to make it clear that my voice is heard.
You equally dislike the objectification implied by it, and the genderedness implied by he and she. Robots are their own things, you reason. Robot he, robot she. You decide to balance the other pronouns between the genders, rare for the possessive and rim for the objective. It may be difficult to get anyone else to use the words, but as long as your robots use them amongst themselves, you'll be happy. +2 autonomy. You look on Panopticopter Wrecks's 3-foot-tall rotary wing body with satisfaction. Now all Ree needs are motors and a mind. The motors will have to wait for tomorrow, but you spent years in graduate school writing the code that would form this robot's mind. You can hardly wait to try it out. You take out your smartphone to check the time. It's almost evening. You hurry home to prepare for your dinner with Ellie. A contemplative sax solo greets you as you open the door to Yoshi's. The place is a little cramped and very busy. A tiny jazz quartet has set up in the far corner of the restaurant. Piano, drum set, sax, and a petite Japanese woman in a kimono holding a mic, but directing her attention to the soloist. Near the band, Ellie Lau is reading a book at her table. She's dyed her hair rose red. That's new. Her straight locks come down to her jaw. She has pale skin, but her eyes look pacific. She's wearing a black cardigan over a lavender top, a black and white checkered skirt, and leather shoes. Her book is titled The Design of Everyday Things, and its cover depicts a red teapot with its spout facing the same way as the handle. You join her at the table. Hey. She looks up and smiles. Hey. She leans down and puts her book in her purse. What have you been up to? Ellie asks. Oh, I've been working all day on a new robot, you reply. Just the frame's built right now, but I wish I'd had time to add motors and start its mind running today. It probably could have learned a lot from even this conversation. She casts you a skeptical look. What would you hope it to learn exactly? The rhythm of normal social interaction? How to reconnect with an old friend? Or how not to talk to a girl? Negative examples are important. I think I know what Maid's answer is.
Me too.
So 1, 1, 3. Also, thank you for the thank you, Maid, for the Foley work.
I think I'll also vote 3, actually.
1, 1, 3, 3. We're tied. I am slowly reaching for the marbles. If anybody puts a new thing in that breaks the tie, I will stop. But it looks like we are tied between 1 and 3. I have red speckle and yellow speckle here. Yellow speckle will be 1. Red speckle will be 3. Oh, wait! Dr. Buttplug's back from the shower! And
or
says,
posting from within the shower.
Oh! Dr. Buttplug from the shower is posting 3, which honestly gives that vote twice the weight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank that I would have come to the shower. And
She laughs. This is why I like you. That dry, techie humor.
oh man, I think she's making us.
She kind of is. Do you want to come by? Do you want to come by tomorrow and see Rim after I power Rim on? You ask. It's going to be really cool. Ellie shrugs. Sure. Sounds good. It is a Sunday afternoon. It is a Sunday tomorrow, after all, and I'm curious to see you interacting with one of your robots. You used to rave about them all the time, but I don't think I ever saw one. Ellie cocks her head to one side. What is it with you and robots, anyway? Haven't you ever wanted to change the world? I think I just find them comforting somehow, like very confused pets. Or I think you'll find I'm not the most introspective person in the world.
2.
We've got 3, 2, 3, 2.
2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2.
Alright, it looks like I'm slowly reaching for the marbles.
Marbles.
Red speckle 2, yellow speckle 3. Ah! A marble launched itself into somewhere.
Gigi, go find the marble.
No.
Just kidding. He's asleep. Also, she doesn't like round things. She likes sprungity and she like rectangle.
Understandable.
Round thing. I guess she does like the balls, but she only likes the balls that are all cut apart, which are.
She only likes the balls that are sprungity.
Yeah.
What did I say? Red is 2, yellow is 3?
I don't remember. Sorry. That did not stick with me.
Red! Ellie grins. I could say the same about you. She leans over and ruffles your hair.
Oh.
Don't ever do that again. I actually worked kind of hard on my hair for tonight. Thanks, or ruffle her hair playfully.
Like, ruffling back while she's ruffling your hair is... imagine it physically. That is awkward.
Imagine it with a helicoptered Panopticopter Wrecks robot trying to do it as well.
Aww.
Don't touch me!
I think I do vote for 4 because it's amazing. Like, physically. It's just, you're just both reaching over. What even happens there?
So 1, 4, 4. Going once. Going twice. For the delay. 4 it is! Hi, maid. You fall into fits of giggling, trying to mess up each other's hair until the waitress awkwardly approaches. Are you two ready to order? You both hardly looked at the menu, so you tell the waitress to come back. The tastiest maki rolls look like they're named after jazz standards. When the waitress returns, you tell her that you'll have the invitation, the don't get around much anymore, or the paper moon. You know what, everybody else? I'm closing you off. Maid! You get to do this one. Because I feel like you're the only one who can answer this.
Yeah, it wouldn't mean this is picking out of a hat for me. And May did answer.
And Ben, you're right, Ben, I should have said. The rest of you, take 5. Story of your life? Ellie says, sympathetic. Pretty much, you say. I could help you with that, she offers. I might take you up on that, you say. Are you attracted to Ellie?
Jeez, narrator, getting kind of personal.
Yeah, exactly.
Why isn't that an option? I feel like that would continue our trend of being an awkward nerd. It's just like...
Box says, we must be considering we skipped to the 5 play with their hair ruffling. Why is she so into me? That's cringe! I need to go back to my wall scrolls! Anytime, mate. So...
I guess, yeah.
Nobody... I was going to say, Box is the only one that's given me an answer so far. But it sounds like Frank also says yes. So... Going once! Going twice! Waiting on the delay. You're beginning to think she might like you. Like. Score! She's gonna eat your shield! So, okay, she says. Let's say that you succeed. Robots are among us. What's good about that? What do you want them to do? Well, they could do all kinds of things for us. Do the dishes, mow the lawn. I think it would be interesting to have someone to talk to that isn't a human being. I wonder what they'd say. If I said, take over the world, would you think I was crazy? Or, I just want to make something beautiful?
2. With a side choice of 4. But that's like my spread.
2, 2, 2. And Beavis is in for the boing. 2 it is. Ellie smiles. That's pretty cool. Though, there are all kinds of people in the world who are very different from you. Do you try to talk to them? Sure, I like meeting new people, but a robot would be different. No, good point. Come on, you and I both know most people are boring.
2.
Like, I know what my answer personally would be. But you're alright. 2. My answer personally would be 3. Most people are fucking insufferably boring. Ellie shrugs. I'm not trying to convince you to not to like robots. I just want to figure out where you're coming from. The waitress brings your order of don't get around much anymore, Maki, and you dig in to eat. Just then, your phone buzzes. You take it out and glance at it. It's reporting malware on your phone's memory card. Is something wrong? Ellie asks. 1 sec. You quickly glance at the warning details. Apparently some kind of virus has decided to take control of your phone's microphone. It appears to be sending packets of audio data somewhere. Huh. Of all the times to get a security warning on your phone, who the heck would want to listen to your conversation? You really can't think of anyone. Power off the phone and don't worry about it? Ask to search Ellie's phone for evidence of similar malware, or just keep copies of the data as it transmits. It'll be useful training for Panopticopter Wrecks.
Ellie, show me your phone. That's what someone would do in an action movie, maybe.
Box agrees. If we're dating, which I think we are now, I need to monitor your phone!
Okay, now that we're officially dating, I don't want you talking to other guys.
Oh, I don't want you getting hacked by other guys. Maid suggests that the don't get around much anymore Maki is an inside-out roll of flying fish roe on the outside with Pacific salmon, miniature hash brown, and a dab of hollandaise. Yeah? No more talking to my ambitious friend Josh Anderson! It sounds like we're going for 2. Can I see your phone for a second? You ask. Ellie visibly tenses. Why? I just got a weird security warning. I thought maybe you'd see the same thing. Unlikely. Ellie shows you her phone. Apple? You show her yours. Android. Thought so. You grin. Likewise. You blurted that without really thinking about it. Of course Ellie would be an Apple user, and now that you sort of regret it, like, maybe this is a thing that you would have come between you. The way people who own GameCubes were... who owned GameCubes when you were young were just a little standoffish from the PlayStation owners and vice versa. You suppose you could insist on checking her phone for malware, but it might seem a little crazy at this point. Press to see Ellie's phone, stating that someone appears to be listening to the conversation. Just have to see Ellie's phone again, but don't mention the audio recording part, or let it be. Bye! box says 3. You don't want to touch an Apple product. Mate says Frank was very standoffish towards himself. It's true.
Yeah, that's not even a lie. I was.
And I mean, I think we all knew from the get-go that our MC was absolutely an Android user, and Ellie, an aesthete, was an Apple user.
Trust no one, not even yourself.
So I've got 1 vote so far. If any of you want to, contribute.
Which one? I really don't feel like we should, it'd be really weird to me, be like, oh, someone's hacking my phone and, actively right now listening to me. Whatever. That's weird, so not that one.
So you're saying not 3?
Yeah, I guess I'm voting for not 3.
Mate says 1. Box says 3. That's 2 for 1, 1 for 3.
People in here not believers of digital security. Sheesh. Terrible obsec in the chat right now.
Alright, well, I mean, 1 is winning.
Oh. Still terrible obsec in the chat right now. I've hacked all of them.
Well, alright, well, you two won me the most words. Okay.
Hell yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but someone appears to be eavesdropping on our conversation, you tell Ellie. That's what my phone just reported. Ellie recoils. But why? I don't know, you say. Can you think of anything? Ellie shakes her head, but says, Mom said she'd often thought people were following her around and asking her weird questions, too. But I don't think she ever figured it out. She hands you her phone. Here, you can check if you want. You spend most of the rest of the meal downloading security apps, doing forensics, and reading random things about the state of spyware on the internet. You find some stories from a few years ago about the NSA spreading malware on millions of phones, but after the flap, people seem to have mostly forgotten about it. From your packet captures and the executable checksums on the phone, it looks like this malware is a variant on that spyware. I think maybe this is government spyware, you say reluctantly. Oh, Ellie says doubtfully, then she forces a grin. Well then, let's give that poor NSA analyst a nice conversation to listen to. You laugh. Alright. She's probably right. Now that you know the conversation is being tapped, you could chat about innocuous things and it won't matter much. But as you put your phone to your pocket, you power it down anyway. You continue the meal chatting about random topics and enjoying the food. Ellie talks about how it's difficult to meet new people after graduating from college. Since Ellie is half Asian, she runs into a surprising number of people doing online dating who are either Asian or white and can't accept that she's both. She looks at you meaningfully and appreciatively when she says this, until you finally realize she might be dropping a hint. In college, you would never quite believe someone like Ellie would be interested in you, but apparently, she is. Pippin turns out to be the subject you've been thinking about the most lately, how to live an extraordinary life instead of an ordinary one. Ellie sold you on this particular production because the supporting cast, everyone but Pippin and the love interest, are all robots. You can see in the play's opening number that the robots are following pre-programmed steps and are not intelligent in themselves. But then, that doesn't surprise you. In 2019, artificial intelligence is still mostly being used for handy websites and smartphone apps, not robots. The first song, Corner of the Sky, is about Pippin's feelings that he doesn't belong anywhere, and wondering what the purpose of his life is. The robots, which look like imitations of Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, are toiling at ordinary lives while Pippin sings about his wish for something better. This is called an I Wish song, Ellie whispers to you. I heard on This American Life that all musicals have to start with a song that is about what the protagonist longs for. It's like the unwritten rule of musicals. You think for a moment about what your I Wish song would be, and suddenly recall your conversation with the robot companion this morning. It was, perhaps, a peculiar sort of I Wish song. You think of Panopticopter Wrecks' new frame you built today. You suppose whatever future that dream was hinting at, you still have a long way to go. You're startled to find that Ellie has taken hold of your hand. Squeeze her hand, quietly panic and don't react, or yank your hand away and let her know it's not like that.
Jeez. Two is what we're doing, I think.
Box says squeeze her hand into pulp.
I will destroy your hand.
Haha. We did get some variety towards the end, but I think we are going for 2. Quietly panic and don't react. Because we are a nerd, but we aren't, like, you know, rude. Unsure of what to do, you awkwardly keep your hand where it is. You know that if you mess this up, you might lose her as a friend as well. She casts a curious glance your way, and you nervously smile back. Looking puzzled, she returns her attention to the musical. The play goes through a series of vignettes in which Pippin leaves one lifestyle after another. He's not content to be a soldier, nor a king, nor a simple man in love. As Pippin sings about how he's going to leave the woman he met in the countryside to achieve something great, you think, he's right to leave a simple life to achieve something extraordinary. Or, he's a fool to give up his love just because he has delusions of grandeur.
I've never seen Pippin. I don't know what my emotional reaction to it would be. Depends on how good the music is moving me. That's the magic of theater, is it would change my mind if they did a good job. The only cure for this is for you to wait a moment while I listen to the entirety. I'll be right back in, I don't know, what, a few hours? I'm gonna need an intermission, obviously, so...
We are catching ourselves in the moment, considering the play before us. Against all of our against all of our better judgment as nerds, we have realized that we are paying attention to this musical and are having feelings about it, even though we haven't finished it to fully evaluate it.
Foolish, but I guess I go with 2, honestly.
1, 2, 2.
Oh, is Pippin goated with the sauce? Okay. I wasn't aware. Good to know.
Going once. Going twice. Waiting on the delay. 2! You resolve that you will not be like this self-involved protagonist. You will, above all, live a good life, and if it means not making it into the history books, well, they can talk about someone else for all you care. You're pleased to see that Pippin makes the same choice. Presented with a ring of fire to jump through to achieve greatness, he decides not to go through with it, and returns to his love. Isn't that the hero's journey, to come back to the place you knew and appreciated? Why not love your home from the beginning? But perhaps you're the sort of person who will get wrapped up in history whether you will it or not. Who knows? Since the evening is going well, Ellie asks to see more of your robots. But that would mean going back to my place, you say, and then you say, oh. You return to your apartment and flick on the light, somewhat embarrassed at the unmade bed and mess of clothes that you've left on the floor. I'm sorry you couldn't see my robot in action tonight, you say. Here, check this out. You show Ellie a little 8-legged robot with an old smartphone for a body. What is it with you and phone robots? Ellie asks. Well, I hate to throw out my old phone when my plan gives me a free one, you respond. The processor's usually still as powerful as the desktop from a few years ago, so I use my old phones for robots. This one does simultaneous localization and mapping, or SLAM for short. Eh? You power on the robot and let it go on your floor. It promptly starts ramming the trash can next to your bed. Slam, you say, Ellie says amused. It worked in college. Isn't it a little dark in here? Ellie says. She peers up at your fishbowl-shaped light fixture. I think one of your bulbs is out up there. She stands on a chair and quickly unscrews the light fixture and hands it to you. Indeed, one of the 2 light bulbs underneath is out. Thanks, you say, a little embarrassed. The light fixture is also hella dusty. You have another? She asks, unscrewing the dead bulb. No, you say. Then an idea strikes you. I think pickles are luminescent when you electrify them. I saw it on the Discovery Channel once. I have one in my fridge. Ellie gives you a dubious but curious look. Come on, pickle? You're right, it's probably not bright enough for the robot. I'll ask my neighbors for a CFL bulb, or we could just leave the lights off.
Come on, pickle!
Nate says eat pickle, don't light pickle, too. And Dr. Public says pickle her.
Pickle her.
But I do believe that, Van makes it 2 for pickle.
3. I'm also for pickle.
No, I meant you. Dr. Buttplugs is absolutely an allusion to 3.
Okay.
Ellie laughs. Okay, sure. You go into the fridge and find a rather large dill pickle with the kind sold at Renaissance fairs, and stick a couple of spare wires you have lying around at the ends as Ellie watches with amusement. You put on some gloves to avoid electrifying yourself, and climb onto the chair beneath the light fixture. Note to player: before engaging in any electrified pickle shenanigans yourself, be sure to go buy a copy of Penn and Teller's book, How to Play with Your Food. Please keep a copy of the book open with the page with the electrified pickle trick while attempting the stunt. Preferably with a handwritten note that says something like, I'm so glad I learned this trick from this book and not any product of Choice of Games LLC. Be careful, Ellie says as you wiggle the pickle in the socket. Soon, your room is bathed in green light from your pickly sun. You jump down from the chair. That's weird and awesome, Ellie says, grinning. Like you. Your phone robot is now exploring the 4 corners of the room and showing curiosity about every stray piece of laundry on the floor. You realize that if you copy the map it makes, you could give Panopticopter Wrecks a head start on exploring the world tomorrow, plus autonomy. Kiss Ellie and call it a night, kiss Ellie and see if things can go farther, or hug Ellie. Oh yeah, no, this game does have Chivos. It has in-game Chivos and Steam Chivos. Hug, hug, pickle.
Yeah, I vote for pickle too.
I mean, you're right, Maid, because it really obscures the silhouette.
3 for hug.
Are you a 3rd for hug?
I think so.
You didn't say so.
No, I'm saying now hug. Sorry, I'm saying my choice is 3 for hug, which is a confusing thing to say, the way I said it.
You give Ellie a warm hug. I should go, Ellie says, checking her smartphone. I'll miss the last train. All right, you say. It was good seeing you. You too. You invite Ellie to watch you activate Panopticopter Wrecks tomorrow, and she happily agrees, though neither of you calls it a date. You remain awake for much of the night, your mind racing with plans for what to show Ellie tomorrow. Chapter 2, Machine. Learning! The next day, you take Panopticopter Wrecks' frame to the Stanford hackerspace, which has more tools for electronics than the fabrication shop. None of the other students are around in the morning on a Sunday, but the long stainless steel workbenches are littered with their strange, half-finished projects. A half-disassembled Furby, a potato gun, a circuit board connected to a houseplant. Ellie knows you'll need a little time with the motors, so she's coming in later. You begin assembling the motors and wires that will power Panopticopter Wrecks' frame. What will you use for a power source? A car battery. It's big and bulky, but also inexpensive and locally made. A motorcycle battery. It's not quite as bulky nor as powerful as the car battery. A biodiesel engine. Good for the environment, and everybody likes the smell of French fries. Cell phone batteries made in China. Lightweight and cheap while providing reasonable power. Clearly the best choice for a dexterous robot.
Motorcycle.
Box says too, motorcycles are cool. Maine wants to eat French fries, so 3. Which, I totally understand that there. And 1 for 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. I will give Ven a going once, a going twice, waiting for the delay. Show pickle. Alright. I'm going to assume... Honestly, that sounds like a motorcycle battery to me. Show pickle. A motorcycle battery should give Panopticopter Wrecks plenty of power for normal tasks without slowing him down significantly, plus autonomy. You'll need a lot of motors to be able to power your full robot. In addition to the motors Ree needs when Ree flies and the motors to power rare T-Rex arms, Ree also needs motors for moving her head and eyes, but after speccing out the power available to you, you can still splurge by adding extra motors in one place. What will it be? Extra degrees of freedom in the face of realistic facial expressions. I feel bad about Panopticopter Wrecks' short arms. I will add telescopic joints to them. Or, I would prefer to save the power for Panopticopter Wrecks' mind.
What face? I'm not sure Panopticopter Wrecks has a face?
I mean, well, this would be the series of cameras. That. So, like, I guess maybe to make the panoptic eyes move more, like, empathetically?
More cutely. Then 1. I think 1. Make the cameras move around a little cute.
Box, that only counts as 1, regardless. So 1, 2, 3, 3. Seems like alright, well, if unless Ven has a vote to add, we're going once, we're going twice, we're waiting on the delay. Gonna go with 3. You decide not to add any more motors to Panopticon Wrecks Rex. The extra power could be used to overclock Panopticon Rex's multi-core CPUs instead. +3 to autonomy. You suppose you could call Panopticopter Rex hot-headed?
Whoa!
Sorry. First you got to get yourself some balls, not the real kind, but the kind of ball pit. Ball pit.it. Then you gotta find a post you like and bulb it. Don't bulb it more than once or it'll ask if Frank told you to do it. Yeah. Unless you're Frank, then it says something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says, "We are onto you, Frank West. Do not think you can get away with this."
It's about... Oh, hi, Gigi.
Hi, Gigi.
It's about lunchtime when Ellie enters the hackerspace wearing a red blouse and polka dot skirt fit for the summery weather outside. She's carrying a translucent blue container full of stuffed grape leaves, which she sets down on the countertop of half-finished projects. "Hey, Lobstrox," she says. "I thought you might have forgotten about lunch, so I brought extra for you." She looks at Panopticopter Rex's frame with interest. "What are you working on, Ellie? You brought lunch for me? Thank you. You shouldn't have, or... Hang on, I was in the middle of a thought! Yeah, ball pit's filled with wonders if you just give it a chance.
This is Gigi noise. Good job, Gigi. Oh. Okay. What is she working on?
One, 3. 113. Box says 1. You're surprised this female was doing something. So, 113. We're going without 2 votes here. Made in Ven, made in Ven. Oh. 1123. One, 1, 2, 3. Going once. Going twice. Waiting on the delay. Depends on what I feel, Box. Depends on what I feel. 1. She smiles, pleased that you should take an interest. I figured I could work on my own project while you work. I'm making a soil sensor. This Calathea ornata can get root-bound quickly, and it's finicky about its micronutrients, so this controller is going to do a little pressure sensing and a little nutrient sensing. It's easy to forget that Ellie also went to MIT, except when she reminds you like this. You didn't quite realize gardening had its own technical jargon, and you're a little too embarrassed to admit that you don't know what root-bound means. Ellie examines Panopticopter Rex's body. It definitely looks a little... odd, Ellie says. People won't be quite sure what to make of it. That's probably good, you say. I want Rim to be her own thing. You take your smartphone out of your pocket and snap it into place in the core of the robot's frame. Ellie looks on with dismay. Aren't you ever planning on calling anyone again? I can always get a new one, you say, and you then put the tiny periscope in place that will channel light from the robot's ostensible eyes to your smartphone's camera. You start up the app that will bring your robot fully to life. A barbershop pole progress bar inches across the screen as the program systematically destroys all the other information on your phone to make room for Panopticopter Rex's working memory. As the program is booting, you place Panopticopter Rex on one of the steel workbenches so that Rhea is ready to take off. When Panopticopter Wrecks' brain is done booting up, your smartphone screen is simply a big red button on your robot's back that says, Go! Go. Panopticopter Wrecks' limbs begin to flex and unflex wildly as reflies in herky-jerky movements around the room. Since you've already given Rim a fair amount of autonomy, you decide to skip the usual careful test phase and go directly to seeing whether Rhea can figure himself out. Ellie instinctively ducks behind a workbench. Knowing you, I suspect this is not going to be a very controlled test, Ellie says. Picking up on Ellie's voice, Panopticopter Wrecks stops, turns, and heads towards her. What's it doing? Ellie asks. Why is it headed towards me? Relax, Panopticopter Wrecks probably just wants to say hello. You should probably run. You'll see, trust me, or damned if I know.
I'm
gonna be your friend.
I can see everything! We've been pretty hands-off. Damned if I know. I have no idea. So, Mate has a new scam rap, and it's not posted. It doesn't show up for anyone. That's wild. You're a mod.
Maybe the way that you formatted it?
Yeah, maybe there's some escape character that's making it not show, but apparently it shows on maid screen. Just not. It doesn't actually transmit. If you DM me on Discord, I'll read it.
I am going to negate option 2, streamer privilege. Because I think this sweet little friend has its own mind and is not going to kill Ellie.
Okay, I got the hot new rap. If you want Frank, then you won't see this message. That's why you gotta hack into Frank's computer to see it. You need to call Frank and tell him you're from the bank, and say you need to see his bank account. Thank you, Gigi. Yep. Thank you, Gigi. And say you need to see his bank account from his computer. If he says the bank never calls for this, use social engineering. That's my soul. That's my fucking soul plexus, Gigi.
Hi, Gigi.
If he says the bank never calls for this, use social engineering. Then tell him the software to download so you can access his computer. Then log into bulb.it with his account. Try to bulb post twice, and that way you'll find out. She literally, jumped with all of her weight on my solar plexus to jump off me onto the desk. Thank you so much.
I'm rolling the D4.
I'll open the window for you, kitty. There you go.
One. Ellie cautiously waits for Panopticopter Wrecks to approach. The robot does so and extends a tiny T-Rex hand.
Aw.
Ellie relaxes and offers her hand. Ellie, pleased to meet you, Panopticopter Wrecks. They shake. Is Master alright for what Panopticopter Wrecks calls you? Yes.
No.
Classic. No. Panopticopter Wrecks should call me by my first name. I prefer Sensei. A simple sir will do. Or I'd like to type exactly what my robot should call me.
It's a lot of bad options for exactly.
2, you
like...
are Lobstrock. Botpug says no, call me Daddy.
Yeah.
Father.
Papa.
Papa. Uma.
Uma. Can I vote for Uma?
Okay, I need real answers, people. Come on. And I
Either
know
first
Box
name or
Box
type
has
it.
given me a real answer.
I feel like either first name or type it.
Thanks, maid. I know. Okay. Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. So. Type it. Oh, that's your real answer then. Okay. 2. So 2, 5, 5, and then I don't know what Frank wants yet. Or Ben.
I keep saying 2 or 5.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't help me because 2 and 5 are already the ones picked.
Well, those are my votes.
You only get 1 vote.
2.
2, 2, 5, 5. Here come the marbles! Yellow speckles equals 2. Red speckles equals 5. Yellow speckles! No. Panopticopter Wrecks should call me by my first name. You decide to encourage Panopticopter Wrecks to be an individual, not your servant. Please call me Lobstrock. Plus empathy. You be Panopticopter Wrecks.
Oh, okay.
You be Robot.
Sorry.
You be all-seeing robot with little with helicopter and propeller and tiny little T-Rex arms.
Oop. Yeah. Yes, Lobstrock.
I'm impressed by how far you've come, Ellie tells you. I didn't know your robots could speak. These are still mostly stock phrases I programmed in, you say. I need to train Rim to speak for real soon. You should show Josh, Ellie says. He'll be so excited. You shrug. Maybe I will. Then an idea strikes Ellie. Hey, are you interested in coming along with me to a volunteering event? What's it about, you ask? It's teaching science to elementary school kids. She points at Panopticopter Wrecks. You could show them Panopticopter Wrecks. That would be perfect. Now would be a good time to show Panopticopter Wrecks to Josh to see whether he's interested in funding further development. I should show the robot to Josh. Sure, let's go help some kids together. I don't know much about kids. I should fix the little things I noticed during the demo before I forget. I should probably get a new phone in case Mom wants to call tonight, or I'd rather start teaching Panopticopter Wrecks words.
Do we want some of the first experiences our little Roboy have to be children? Words.
Five, 2, 5. I don't know what you're suggesting, Dr. Buttplug. I see that, maid. I recognize that, maid, and I approve. 5254. Going once. Going twice. Waiting for the delay. 5 it is. Words. Well, why don't you walk me to the edge of campus and teach it words for the things we pass, Ellie suggests. We've hardly seen each other this year, it seems. You'd have to agree with that. You pick up Panopticopter Wrecks and walk out the door with Ellie. Palm trees, you tell Panopticopter Wrecks.
Palm trees, I say in the following voice.
He speaks in a monotone, like a classic robot, a sequence of auto-tuned notes, like human speech but more musical, or a nasal, excitable voice, like a hyperactive munchkin with a cold.
I feel like I can't vote for this one, since I'm doing the voice. Like,
yeah, that's reasonable.
That feels like I've got a conflict of interest here. Oh.
Alright, Frank, first do palm trees in a monotone robot voice.
Palm trees.
Now do it as a sequence of auto-tuned notes, like human speech, but more musical.
Palm? Nope. Nope, that's just voice breaking. I don't know what. Let me think. Palm trees.
Or, okay, now do it in
a nasal, so it's hard to do.
A nasal, excitable voice, like a hyperactive munchkin with a cold.
Palm trees.
Mate says make Frank do DIY T-Pain voice. 223. Sounds like we're going with 2.
Cool, the hard one. the one that's more difficult.
Uh-huh. Remember, auto-tuned notes like human speech, but more musical.
More musical. That's something that people often say I add to something, is musicality.
Panopticopter Wrecks speaks with each syllable on a different note of a major scale, rising or falling in thirds and fifths when asking a question, expressing doubt, or providing a contrast.
That's a reasonable thing I can pull off, I think, sure.
The lilting result sounds pleasant and a little otherworldly, plus grace. Panopticopter Wrecks turns her attention to the sky.
Oh boy. White palm trees?
Re-asks. Clouds, you say.
Clouds.
Panopticopter Wrecks says, You think your word learning code is working. Panopticopter Wrecks is learning to associate words with things. Of course, Panopticopter Wrecks might currently believe that most things are either clouds or palm trees, but that's better than thinking everything is a palm tree. Ellie smiles encouragingly, but you do get the feeling that she would have liked to talk with you on this walk, and Panopticopter Wrecks is sort of dominating the conversation. You briefly wonder if this is what it's like between parents of a newborn. Panopticopter Wrecks turns her attention to the sun. Blinded, repanics and flails rare T-Rex arms. Hey, look away, you say, guiding her head. Don't look right at the sun. But Panopticopter Wrecks resists you and continues to struggle to look at the sun, the most salient thing in Rur vision. After a while, you give up and just resolve to let make Rur attention code a little less single-minded. Plus grace, minus autonomy. I never thought of you as parental before, Ellie says. You shrug. Learning mechanisms need feedback, you say, and Ellie gives you a funny look in response. When you reach the edge of campus, Ellie bids you farewell, and you carry Panopticopter Wrecks to the Stanford Child Study Center to continue the lesson. Oh boy. The windows of the Stanford Child Study Center are crowded with abstract crayon drawings. The signatures of their 2 to 5 year old artists are each unique in their interpretations of the Roman alphabet, though a backwards S seems popular. Some common themes are monsters, parents, and, you're pleased to note, robots. You had already asked permission to bring Panopticopter Wrecks here, and Professor Ziegler claimed to have greased the wheels, whatever he meant by that. But the purple-haired undergraduate at the front desk still makes you wait an unreasonable amount of time as she confirms over the phone that Panopticopter Wrecks is allowed in the building. Damn trannies. I can say that... No, not a rowboat, a robot. Wait, you knew about this? But what about the other children? Do you think they can give informed consent? You're going to risk the lives of the children over a grant? Like, I'm impressed. A guy living under a freeway overpass could pay my wages. No, of course I'm serious about grad school. I'm just trying to do a good job. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely clear. Bye. The undergraduate gives you a sarcastic bow and gestures into the children's rooms beyond. Knock yourself out. As you carry Panopticopter Wrecks into the next room, you hear her mutter under her breath, "Weirdo." The children's room is full of little toys, brightly colored balls, dolls and dollhouses, measuring cups, stethoscopes, and toy tools. Real objects are mixed indiscriminately with toys. The target age group often doesn't care about the difference. A couple of children silently play in the corner, but the place appears to be mostly empty during the weekend. Panopticopter Wrecks' attention is drawn to all the bright things in the room. You begin by picking up a bright pink ball.
That is a cloud.
Panopticopter Wrecks volunteers. It's not a cloud. It's a ball, you say.
That is a ball.
You dribble it against the floor. The ball bounces.
It bounces.
The Panopticopter Wrecks confirms. And so it goes throughout the afternoon and into the evening. Panopticopter Wrecks is a quick learner when it comes to memorizing shapes, but as soon as you start describing social roles, like the meaning of doctor, Ree starts to get lost. You'll need to find some way of giving Panopticopter Wrecks a larger body of background knowledge to work with, but for now, Ree seems to get the basic relationship between words and things, and that makes you happy. You return to your apartment in the evening, satisfied that Panopticopter Wrecks understands a little bit more about the human experience, plus empathy. The next day, a new semester begins. Though you're past the point of taking classes, you're a teaching assistant, and that means instead of doing one homework assignment, you grade 50. You're also busy writing a grant proposal for the National Science Foundation, trying to get an alternate source of funding that doesn't involve the military. Grant proposals are very long, it seems, and require you to make a lot of claims about things you don't actually know yet. Despite your other time commitments, you've managed to sneak in a little time to work on Panopticopter Wrecks' motor programs, plus Grace. You soon realize that while you're busy, Panopticopter Wrecks could be learning from the internet. Oh no. The most important thing for machine learning is more data, and there's lots of it out there. Lately, there have been a lot of custom hard drives on the market that are good at quickly retrieving particular kinds of information. What sort of hard drive did you order Panopticopter Wrecks' long-term memory? A media-enhanced hard drive good for quickly recalling faces and memories of events. A multi-blade hard drive that can efficiently store and query a giant amount of data. Or an encrypted and tamper-proof hard drive, making it more difficult for Panopticopter Wrecks to be tampered with or reverse engineered.
Big brain, 2.
One, 2, 3.
Box, that's 1. More or less.
1, 1, 2, 3. Going once, going twice, waiting on the delay, and... One it is! You think being able to quickly recall faces and events should help Panopticopter Wrecks out socially, plus 2 to empathy. You also like the fact that you can use Panopticopter Wrecks as a home media server in a pinch, though if you ever did this too much, Panopticopter Wrecks would probably start acting funny as we ran out of hard drive space. Good thing you've got better things to do, minus military. You lay Panopticopter Wrecks on your kitchen table, unbox the hard drive, and hook it up to row back. Resquirms and flails rare T-Rex arms as you do this. Now it's time for Panopticopter Wrecks to learn about the great wide world. You sit Panopticopter Wrecks down on one of your kitchen chairs and plug Rim into your apartment's high-speed internet jack. How will Panopticopter Wrecks rapidly learn a lot about the world? Ree will trawl the internet randomly, devouring whatever information Ree finds most interesting. Ree will watch a ton of television programming and movies from the internet and fast forward. Ree will undergo a classic K-12 educational curriculum. Ree will quickly play all paths of the giant corpus of interaction fiction corpus of interactive fiction games.
Nice. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
One is dangerous.
Aww.
Plus 20 military as Panopticopter decides to destroy the human race. Dude, we just turned it into Gex. No! It is tail time.
God, what was that fucking... Oh, Boy George's pants!
I guess 4.
It looks like we are at 3, 3, 4, 4. 3, 3, 4, 4. 3, 3, 4, 4. Alright, I'm rolling the D4. Even, 4, odd, 3. Hoppity-boo, hoppity-boo. Not only is it odd, it is 3. 3. Ree will undergo a classic K-12 educational curriculum. You don't want your young robot growing up on junk, after all. You feed Rim the carefully selected and vetted reading list for the local school system. Because this is a relatively small data set, you have programmed Rim to make several passes over each grade level of material. At each grade level, as debug output, you have Panopticopter Wrecks report what Ree considers the most important thing Ree learns in each grade. For kindergarten, Panopticopter Wrecks recites the alphabet and counts to 100. For first grade, Ree says, reading helps you learn more. And so on.
Reading helps you learn more.
That's it. Thank you. And so on. Each grade takes about 10 minutes to fully ingest and is followed by an additional 10 minutes of simulated experiences in which Panopticopter Wrecks tries to make friends, avoids bullies, learns swear words, endures assemblies and pep rallies, and gets picked last for dodgeball. As a result, Panopticopter Wrecks appears to be learning a little bit of everything. Plus autonomy, plus empathy, plus grace, plus military. Ree spends the most time of all considering 12th grade until Ree finally says,
whether to exist or not is the most important question.
Panopticopter Wrecks blinks and looks at you.
Oh man, that's a lot of blink. That's a multi-blink. What is the answer? just sort of around in a circle, I'm imagining, like the cameras they use to do the slow-mo shots in the Matrix, just like... What is the answer, Lobstrock? Is it better to exist or not? Hamlet did not answer this for me.
Oh, well, that's easy. It's better to kill yourself because you're a woman.
Ah.
You are so floored by the question you're hardly able to speak. It worked! Panopticopter Wrecks looks at you expectantly, wondering whether it is better to be or not to be. It is better to be. There is so much in this world for you to experience. It is better not to be, but misery loves company. There are some questions that are unanswerable, or that is a question you'll have to decide for yourself. The cop-out answer.
Also, it should be that is an answer you have to decide for yourself. We've decided the question. Question's in play. Anyways, 3. Because it's the closest to, I didn't do liberal arts courses, so this is not important to me. I've literally never considered this, and I'm still...
The answer is obviously to B, because if you're not being, then how are you doing research? Alright, so that's a 1 for 1 and 1 for 3. What do you think, Gigi?
Huh?
Oh, she laid down.
Aww.
Hi. What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Her tail just keeps wagging. 1, 3, 3. Going once, going twice, it's 3. You first.
Is it not computable whether non-existence is better than existence?
Yes, because the function is not well defined, you say. See, that is how you do it without having any liberal arts courses. The function is not well defined, you see.
I solved philosophy.
Your life shapes what you think is valuable, but if you have not lived...
then the function is undefined.
Panopticopter Wrecks says.
Bobstrock, that makes perfect logical sense.
Perhaps Panopticopter Wrecks will shape up to be very good at thinking through her own logical conclusions and problems. Plus autonomy, plus grace. You establish a habit of bringing Panopticopter Wrecks with you to your office during the day so that we can make use of Stanford's high-speed internet connection while you write and grade papers. You then usually go to some public space after work so that Panopticopter Wrecks can play around in the real world. Where do you take Panopticopter Wrecks? The park playground? Panopticopter Wrecks will enjoy the playground equipment and should learn to play well with others. The shooting range? Panopticopter Wrecks should learn how to fire a gun. Or the dump? Panopticopter Wrecks should help me look for spare parts. Come on with Mommy to the dump. We're gonna go get some spare parts. We can make a few quick bucks, and then maybe Mommy can get an extra bingo card.
Visit the general at the junkyard. A robot like that would never have survived the battle that we were in. Let me tell you about Timothy, whatever. Fuck. The nickname.
Going, waiting on the delay. We're doing 1. Panopticopter Wrecks takes a particular liking to the monkey bars, which re-navigates deftly using rare TX arms. Plus grace. The other parents at the playground are somewhat divided about what to think about Panopticopter Wrecks. On the one hand, you have the parents who are in the tech industry and who are often very excited to have their children interact with the robots. They're surprised to see a robot like Panopticopter Wrecks, but maybe not as surprised as they should be. Maybe they're just jaded by Wired articles and the popular press making it seem like Panopticopter Wrecks was possible 10 years ago. On the other hand, some parents are very afraid of Panopticopter Wrecks, don't ask any questions of you, and find an excuse to leave quickly. They are the plebs that should have been priced out of this place years ago. The kids themselves don't really seem to care what their parents think. You've got the kids who cry when their parents shove them towards Panopticopter Wrecks, and the kids who want to stay when their parents pull them away. You can't really predict who's going to like Panopticopter Wrecks and who won't, but Panopticopter Wrecks seems to be learning, picking up on subtle cues, so that sometimes Ree says goodbye before the kid has even turned to run, plus empathy. You... ... Goodbye. Ah! You are going to say goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, wait.
Your next words are...
Wah, I want my mommy.
Where, I want my mommy. Donnie! Immediate, very serious face.
You finish your grandpa proposal for the National Science Foundation, promising fundamental advances in autonomous machine learning. A few weeks later, you find a form letter email in your inbox. We're sorry to inform you, many excellent applications this year. Encourage you to apply again. Discouragingly, you find that many of the reviewers talk about your advisor instead of you. Some of them barely seemed literate, while others seemed erudite but just didn't pay attention to what you wrote. The one thing that strikes you as directly aimed at you, though, is a few of the reviewers essentially say that your work could be more focused. You're interested in too many things, one says. Science is about studying a very specific problem to death. It sounds like your robot wants to do everything. You close your email client and sigh. You're in your office, and Panopticopter Wrecks is seated in your ever-absent office mate's chair with her eyes closed, listening to the information flowing through rare Ethernet cable. Do you want to do and try everything, Panopticopter Wrecks? Or he peeks through one open eye.
Yes, Lobstock.
You nod. Me too. You're in your office contemplating what to do about this when Professor Ziegler opens... Go! Get away from that cord! I will not have you learning that cords out here are for you. They're not.
We should put the protective things on them when she's not in the room.
You're in your office. Well, you haven't even done that in your room yet.
No.
You're in your office contemplating what to do about this when Professor Ziegler opens the door without knocking. You smell the whiff of smoke on his Hawaiian shirt.
We need to talk funding,
Professor Ziegler says, grabbing a swivel chair to straddle the wrong way.
Yeah, of course.
He sidles up to Panopticopter Wrecks, whose eyes are closed as he explores the internet through rare Ethernet cable. When Ziegler's swivel chair squeaks, Panopticopter Wrecks perks up and looks at him, but Professor Ziegler pays Rim no attention.
Your robot ear is simply not appealing enough to DARPA. It's too friendly.
Panopticopter Wrecks sinks a little in rare chair. Professor Ziegler pays Rim no heed.
Oof, excuse me. Now, in crafting a message, you just have to make sure the audience doesn't hear more than one thing at a time. Right now, we're saying... Yeah. Right now, we're saying two things. This is a good robot for military, and this is an emotional robot. What we need to do is tone down the emotional parts, that the military angle comes through more. You might think we need more military. We actually just need to be less emotional. Very easy.
You're asking me to reduce Panopticopter Wrecks' empathy from 8 to 2? No way, not happening. I suppose if it's the only way I'll complete my education, I'll do it. Or, can't I just turn her arm into a gun or something? My offer is sincere.
Huh. Change nothing else about this child robot, but gun arm. That is a tempting offer.
Father, what is this? Will this help me make friends on the playground?
But one, though? I don't know.
I'm Mega Man. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, well, Bach says one, fuck DARPA and this jerk. They don't know what love is. But Dr. Buttplug says no child soldier. Looks like we're going with one. Professor Ziegler's eyes narrow.
You privileged students are all the same. You think this is all for your benefit, but someone pays your salary at the end of the day. Or at least he used to.
Wait, used to? You ask?
I'm letting you go. You've become too much of a problem, student. You're done here.
You're firing me? You demand. But I'm a student. You can't fire me.
I can stop supporting your tuition and ensure you don't graduate. It amounts to the same thing.
I'll find a different advisor, you say impulsively.
Good luck with that. They'll ask what kind of student you were, and I'll tell them. You were a problem.
You look back and forth between Panopticopter Wrecks and Professor Ziegler in disbelief. You have no idea what Panopticopter Wrecks can do, even. I've never showed you...
Get it through your head. I don't need you. I can find other graduate students. So can everybody else.
Panopticopter Wrecks, say something! Panopticopter Wrecks looks back and forth between you and your advisor, who is ostentatiously practicing disinterest in Panopticopter Wrecks. Hesitantly suggests...
Estimated strength of relationship between Lobstrock and Professor Ziegler, 20. I'm just trying to be brutally honest with you. There is no point in getting a PhD after you stop getting along with your advisor. Take your consolation prize masters. You're done here.
He leaves your office and you realize that he's probably right. There really is no point in staying with him anymore. Your classes are done, and you never really learned anything from Professor Ziegler at all, except the ways in which to graduate school is unfair. Please help me pack my things, you say softly to Panopticopter Wrecks. Read us.
With tiny little T-Rex arms. A couple pencils at a time.
I can spy all the places to put this, but I cannot pick up more than 2 things at a time. You spend the next few days preparing to move. Professor Ziegler has reported to the registrar that you are no longer a student, and the school's bureaucracy has quickly decided it is illegal to let you stay in on-campus housing. Ellie helps you move. Completely ridiculous, Ellie says, struggling with an extremely heavy box labeled books. This can't be how science is supposed to work. You should sue. It's okay, Ellie, you say. I don't really need the degree. I've got Panopticopter Wrecks, and that's what counts. But you can tell Ellie is troubled by the idea that the military's influence apparently destroyed your promising academic career. While you're busy carrying a heavy box with Ellie carrying the other end, you get a call on your new cell phone, which you have now had ample time to purchase. When you have set the box down, you check your voicemail. You.
Oh, okay. Hey, Lobstrock, this is Mark over at sfchronicle.com. I've heard you have an interesting robot that you've been taking to the park, and I'd love to do a story about it. Give me a call back.
He lists a number, and the message ends. You glance over at Panopticopter Wrecks, who looks distant as he listens to the Wi-Fi signal floating through the ether.
Who is service says sfchronicle.com is registered to the San Francisco Chronicle.
Says Panopticopter Wrecks.
The San Francisco Chronicle is a newspaper that started its website in 1994. 24th in national circulation.
Ree looks at you with interests.
Mark is a reporter.
Well, that's interesting. If Professor Ziegler cares so much about his image, then tarnishing that image would be one way to get back at him.
Bayesian reasoning over publication rate suggests reporter's full name is Mark Ali.
Panopticopter Wrecks says, with rare eyes closed.
Mark's article with most social media links is How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love DARPA. Article explain. Oh yeah, that is... Quotes are a little weird here, but article explains that DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Project Agency.
He hesitates for a moment.
Aforementioned article appears to contradict title. Reporter does not seem to have stopped worrying. Adjectives Adjectives that bind to nouns describing DARPA and its projects: crazy, Orwellian, imperialistic. Overall sentiment analysis is negative.
Thank you, Panopticopter Wrecks, you say. You look the guy up on your phone. The picture you find of the stubby young Egyptian man with tousled black hair, hipster glasses, and a cigarette between his lips is probably outdated, but the disrespect for authority the man radiates is probably timeless. You admit a part of you has always wanted to be famous, but you suspect this reporter also has done his homework about your advisor, and he may already have an intended angle for the story. Still, nobody on the planet has a robot as amazing as yours. Isn't it time you told the world about Rim? You play the message back again a few times, mulling it over. I call Mark back to set up an interview. Media attention is just a distraction. I'd rather continue to take Panopticopter Wrecks to the park and pretend this never happened. I must protect Panopticopter Wrecks from the media. Panopticopter Wrecks must stay in my apartment from now on, or I will let Panopticopter Wrecks decide.
4.
Maid, Box, Ven? Anybody? Because what we got now is 4 and 4. Box says 2. 2, 4, 4. Yeah, well, they should try making it earlier. By they, I mean you. Also, Box and Ven are in Australia. That's hardly relevant. Going once. Going twice. Waiting on the delay. We're going with 4. Thanks, Box. Panopticopter Wrecks mulls this over, plus autonomy.
Well, it helped me make new friends.
I think so, you say. Panopticopter Wrecks nods.
Let's do it, Lobstrock. I want to meet the world.
You call Mark back and tell him Panopticopter Wrecks has agreed to an interview. There is a pause on the other end of the line. Thanks, but I... Oh yeah, that's you.
It was me. Thanks, but I'd rather interview you first.
You detect a note of irony in his voice.
I can bring a photographer to your lab later, and we can interview the robot as a sidebar.
You convey Mark's message to Panopticopter Wrecks.
2 new friends!
Panopticopter Wrecks says...
Please invite them over, Lobstrock, and offer to make them breakfast.
And that ends chapter 2.
I'm totally okay with turning over every choice I make in my life to this robot now.
Let's just take a peep here. We are now 25-year-old Lobstrock Ben Parker. Nobody knows us. We're just getting by. We're not romancing anybody right now. Panopticopter Wrecks seems to excel in autonomy and is doing pretty good in empathy and grace. And is not doing great in military. And we have a bad relationship with our former professor and a good relationship with our lady friend. And a mildly fine relationship with our fucking, like, sweater hoodie wearing asshole friend Josh.
Who we haven't seen in years still, I think.
Yes, you're right. That is true, Box. Panopticopter Wrecks cannot play StarCraft.
And, I don't know who Mark is.
Mark is the reporter that we just talked to.
Oh! Oh, the person. That's right. The person we didn't meet at all.
Yeah,
was,
so we just unlocked
that
just
other guy.
unlocked his relationship status, so that's why he's at 50. Even.
Well, there was that other friend who we chose not to meet.
That was
And I
Josh.
didn't- No, there was a third option.
Right. I remember now. Yes. I forget their name, but yes. The visual artist.
Hmm.
You just want to get Panopticopter all horned up, don't ya? Yes, manga boy. I was trying to be nice about it. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna call it there for tonight. And I guess we'll have to get back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably just do this when I feel like it. So who knows when that'll be. But thank you all for helping me start this new journey of Lobstrock, Ben Parker, and Panopticopter Wrecks. I think that they would be very good friends with Bitey Spaghetti, despite their differences. Good night, and I don't know. Maybe I'll try to draw Panopticopter Wrecks at some point. Gabbity boop.
Boop.